go. All right, please.
As promised earlier.
Alrighty. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Defcon 2. We have reached Defcon 2. We have reached Defcon 2. Defcon 1 is when Trump sends a U.S. citizen to the death camp. But right now, Defcon 2, I'm a U.S.-born citizen of Salvadorian descent. I'm so fucking terrified. I wouldn't be voluntarily giving out that information right now. I wish you the best of luck, but I would not be voluntarily giving that information out, dude. What up, guys? We have to make this video because I'm not being facetious. There's a slippery slope to fascism. There's a descent into fascism. We're not on the descent. We've made it to the bottom. It has become a Nazi regime. This is a death camp, and I can hopefully prove it to you. This is serious. Oh, Jesus, fuck. This is so bad. This is so bad. I've got a couple of things queued up. I'll let a few more people roll in. I'll give you a teaser for now. We're going to cover this. Senator Chris Van Hollen, I believe he's from Maryland, traveled to El Salvador to advocate for Kilmar Abrego Garcia's release. Now, this is old. This is from earlier in the morning. We already have an update from this. He was refused to have that meeting. He asked for a phone call, and they refused the phone call. There has yet to be a single piece of proof that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive. All those satellite images, they are lying and saying it's animals who were butchered. No, those were not animals. We're going to cover that too. Then we're going to cover Chris Van Hollen himself, him in El Salvador, and his response to being denied proof of life. He's denied access. Then we're going to cover a deep dive into Cecot and some satellite images of what seems to be piles of corpses. I wish I was wrong. I wish I was wrong. The things that I say, the things that I've said about Trump, the things that I've said about this regime for fucking years, I assumed part of it was wrong. I assumed, yes, he's going to be a terrible president. Yes, he's going to do fucked up fascist shit. But somebody somewhere is going to stop him if he tries to do something like death camps. And I can't believe it. I can't fucking believe it. I can't fucking believe it. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, enough people have rolled in, so we'll dive into it. Fuck. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. Let's get the hair sexy. Because people only listen to pretty people in this fucking world. Gotta look pretty for the goddamn camera in this goddamn world, in this fucking reality. Smile, honey. Smile, sweetheart. Big smile. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm going to start recording. Cecot is a death camp. Cecot is an extermination camp. There is a slippery slope into fascism, and we are not on that slope. We reached the bottom, okay? I do not say this lightly. Whether you fucking like me or not, listen, I have a bachelor's degree in history with a minor in political science. I specifically focused around the period between World War I and II in Germany. The rise of the Dolchstoßmyth and the rise of fascism and National Socialism. I understand the stepping stones to fascism. We are no longer on the staircase. We reached the fucking top. Kilmar Abrego Garcia There has not been a single shred of proof of life for this man. We're going to cover a couple of things here. We're going to start off with Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen went to fucking El Salvador. He went to Cecot. He tried to get a meeting with Kilmar Garcia, some fucking proof of life for his family, for his wife and 4 children back in Maryland. They wouldn't give him that meeting. So he said, give me a phone call. They wouldn't give him the phone call. Now, I believe that the reason why they did this is because he's fucking dead. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will be on board with me and you will be ringing the fucking alarm bells, because Defcon 2, Defcon motherfucking 2, if we are exporting people to a fucking death camp. Defcon 1 is when he does it to a U.S. citizen, and he's already floated around the idea. Now, before we dive into this, listen, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Those cost you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Also, I film these videos live, so hit the notification bell so you can know when I'm doing it live. Say hi to the chat. Hi, chat. Second thing, this is real independent media. The reason why I don't pull my punches, the reason why I attack both the right and the left, is because I have no fucking funding. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser or a billionaire or a government. So if you want to help this channel out, if you want to keep independent media alive, feel free to buy some merch down below. We got the Dope Ass Valenti Videos merch. Use the 40% off discount for Ground News. Become a patron. Big shout out to my patrons, and become a member here on YouTube. Big shout out to all my members. Let's fucking dive right in. So let's start off with some not so horrifying shit. Senator Chris Van Hollen travels to El Salvador to advocate for Kilmar Garcia's release. The Maryland senator previously said he would travel to El Salvador if the Garcia was not released by midweek. So this is his wife. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we're going to listen to a little bit of his wife talking, because these are fucking human beings with families. Kilmar Garcia has He has never been proven to have committed a crime. He's never committed a crime. He's not a member of MS-13. He's not a terrorist. He's not an illegal immigrant. All of this has been proven. Oh my God.
I find myself pleading with the Trump administration and the Bukele administration to stop playing political games with the life of Kilmar. Enough is enough. My family can't be robbed from another day without seeing Kilmar.
So, we've got this woman doing a public appearance trying to get some fucking public support to bring back her husband, but already the Trump administration has done the damage. The Trump regime defamed this man. They went live and said, this guy's a terrorist, this guy's a member of MS-13, this guy's a violent criminal. They said all these fucking things, none of which are true. And then when the fucking Supreme Court ruled 9-0 unanimously, they said, you have to bring this man home. These goddamn motherfuckers, they just blatantly lied and said, Stephen Miller, Goebbels, said, the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 in our favor that we don't have to bring him home. And the reason why they're capable or willing to just blatantly lie like this when it's researchable information is that these fucking MAGA rat chuds don't read. They hear Stephen Miller say, hey, the Supreme Court ruled in our favor, and they go, oh, the Supreme Court ruled in our favor. No, they fucking didn't. Pull up the goddamn ruling, you fucking himbo. So, Chris Van Hollen, let's keep reading here, okay? Let me zoom in for you a little bit. There you go. Let me X out of that. Washington Senator Chris Van Hollen flew to, he's not Washington. Senator Chris Van Hollen flew to El Salvador on Wednesday to push for the release of Kilmar Garcia after the mistakenly deported man was not returned by midweek. One of the senator's conditions for embarking on the trip. Van Hollen said in a video post from the U.S. airport that he was about to board a flight to the country's capital, adding that his goal was to show the Trump administration and El Salvador's government, quote, that we are going to keep fighting to bring Garcia home until he returns to his family. Van Hollen, Maryland, represents the state where Abrego Garcia lived. In a press conference with Salvadoran media shortly after he arrived in the country this afternoon, Van Hollen said he had, quote, just met with the vice president of El Salvador. We started the conversation on a point of agreement, which is that two countries should work together to crack down on transnational gangs like MS-13, which Garcia is not part of. Van Hollen said, I think that it's important to underscore because the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia does not have to do with MS-13. Thank you. Thank you for the $5 donation from JD Dubois. Not at all to do with this, but people are comparing Nepali student's speech to Adolf. I've seen it before. It doesn't fucking matter. That's just people comparing it because they're fucking stupid. Anyway, so Senator Chris Van Hollen, he goes to El Salvador to try and meet with him. And let's just watch the video that he posted from El Salvador.
I'm now en route into the city, looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. And I do want to thank our Foreign Service officers and the whole team at this embassy and embassies around the world for all the good work they do on behalf of our country. I'm proud to co-chair the bipartisan Foreign Service Caucus that stands up for the men and women who are serving our country overseas and at home in the State Department. After that, I hope to meet with some high-level government officials from El Salvador. As I've said before, the goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home, and we're going to keep working at this until we're successful. I also hope to have the chance to meet with him, but we'll have a better idea if that works out a little later on.
Yeah, so he was denied meeting him. We've got this Aaron Parnas. Big shout out to Aaron Parnas. He's fucking fantastic.
Now, Senator Chris Van Hollen tried to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia in El Salvador. Van Hollen is in El Salvador today. He was denied access to Cecot. He was denied access to Abrego Garcia. He was denied even a phone call. According to Van Hollen, he met with the vice president of El Salvador, who said that they would facilitate a phone call between Van Hollen and Abrego Garcia if the U.S. Embassy asked, but that there were no...
But of course the fucking U.S. Embassy won't ask because the U.S. Embassy is in the palm of Donald Trump's hand.
Guarantees that they would facilitate a phone call between Abrego...
Thank you for the $5 donation, Tanner Schesler.
Garcia and his family here back in the United States. Van Hollen said that while he was the first senator to visit El Salvador, he definitely won't be the last. He said that the embassy really has no information about how the Trump administration is, quote, facilitating Abrego Garcia's return, and that the Trump administration is in clear violation of a lawful Supreme Court order, a lawful Maryland order as well. This is a significant escalation. I'll provide you updates every step of the way. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, link to my bio, so subscribe for free and follow along to update on all the news you need to know about. More to come.
Okay, so this guy travels to El Salvador to try and meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia for the sole purpose of getting some sort of fucking proof of life. Because since this man has been sent to El Salvador, there has not been one shred of evidence that he is still fucking alive. Okay, and that is because, and this is what we're about to move into, and this is going to get a little bit dark, so I'm going to give you a fair warning. I believe that Cecot is an extermination camp. We already know a couple of things, which is that the prisoners in Cecot receive no time outside whatsoever. There is no plan for anybody in Cecot to ever leave Cecot. These are all permanent sentences. They are not given any sort of therapy or any programs to try and make them functional members of society. They are forced to do slave labor. And now what we're going to watch is a quick, deep dive. And big shout out to Total Hypocrisy for doing this deep dive into Cecot, where you will see that some of the companies that were hired to build Cecot were also known for building crematoriums. Places where you turn bodies into ash. That is what they were known for. Now, what I want to quickly point out is that I do not believe that Cecot is a death camp in terms of there are showers or there are execution rooms. What I believe is that Cecot is a death camp in terms of there are no rules for what the prisoners can do to each other, and that they simply get rid of the bodies. And that's how they keep on the flow of people getting into Cecot without it getting overflowed. So without further ado, let's watch this deep dive.
Let's get into a deep dive of the terrorist confinement center in El Salvador, where people are being deported from the United States without due process. This is an aerial view of the terrorism confinement center located in Tecoluca, El Salvador. It's often referred to as just Cecot as an abbreviation, so that's what we'll be calling it. It officially opened in January of 2023 when El Salvador's president was doing a major crackdown on gang violence and just violence in general throughout the country of El Salvador. As a result, obviously, this is a maximum security prison, and as it holds up to 40,000 inmates, it's one of the largest in Latin America. Just looking at this aerial view, you see that there are 8 cell blocks, or pavilions, as they are sometimes referred to. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to be important later. Now, each cell within each of these
It's going to be important because if those are the pavilions and these are the administrative buildings, what the fuck are these? You've already admitted that these prisoners do not get time outside. There is no yard. They get no sunlight. So what the fuck are those 4 buildings? And why are we seeing strange things on Google satellites?
Cell blocks can accommodate 65 to 70 inmates, as we've seen in the pictures that look like this. So you've probably seen this on the news already. This should not be new information, but this is one of those cells of many cells in each of those cell blocks. Again, each cell accommodating 65.
If you look at this in black and white and you don't get reminiscent of the Holocaust and what the camps looked like, then you are simply lying to yourselves. I know some Americans are scared of tattoos, and I'm not saying that everybody in this camp is innocent. I'm certain that there are plenty of terribly violent criminal gang members in this prison. But the fact is that if injustice exists for anywhere, then it exists everywhere, right? I don't know the full fucking quote because I don't give a shit. But if anybody is in this prison wrongfully, and if people aren't getting due process, then this is an emergency. This is a nightmare.
To 70 inmates. Cecot has also been a central focus of many human rights organizations around the world, as basic human needs and care are not met in this facility. They truly treat these individuals like animals, packing them quite literally to the rafters. No blankets, no pillows, no going outside, no access to medical care, no rehabilitation programs to try and make these people better humans in general, no education, nothing.
I just want to say really quickly, if there's any MAGA people watching this, you really do have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Whether or not you support sending even U.S. citizens to extermination camps where you get no proof of life. That includes you. You're probably a U.S. citizen. You have to advocate for the rights of criminals. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but why do I say that? It's because if criminals don't have rights, all it takes is for your enemies to accuse you of being a criminal. And now you have no rights. And as we've already seen, they're cracking down on even pro-Palestinian protesters, saying that if you have anti-American values, you're a criminal. Now, who gets to decide what anti-American values are? The establishment, the Trump regime, the most jingoistic nationalists that we've ever had in American history are going to decide who is anti-American. You do understand that by the Trump administration's definition, I would be considered anti-American. I'm probably considered an enemy of the state to the Conservative Party. Now, here's the thing. My father was a veteran. My uncle was a veteran. My grandfathers were veterans. I come from a military family. I was born in the United States. I've never committed a crime. I don't have a criminal record. But simply standing against the Führer puts you in the crosshairs of the Gestapo, also known as ICE.
Clearly, overcrowding is a major issue, and I can only imagine how much worse it has gotten as the United States to continue to send people to this facility without due process. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that everyone located in this facility is innocent or is not a member of a gang. That's probably not true. But I know for a fact there's a ton of people in there who at least have not even had their due process or their day in court. And looking at those images is only reflective of this to me. That is 1930s Germany, let's just say. As we look further into the Google Earth images...
More accurately, that's probably not 1930s Germany. Because Germany's did the same thing that we're doing now. That's probably a camp somewhere outside of Germany, maybe in like Czechoslovakia or Poland, because the Germans did the same thing. They didn't, towards the end, yes, they built a lot of camps in Germany. That's because the Russians and the Allies were squeezing them out of their land that they had conquered, right? But in the beginning, they put these camps outside of Germany so that the average German didn't have to think about it. And this is before the internet, and all this shit, so they really didn't have to think about it.
Show you this might not be where the parallels end between 1930s Germany and Cecot. Let's go back to this image for a second. I did a ton of research last night, literally was up till like 4 a.m. trying to find information on blueprints or who built this place or anything at all.
When all is said and done, people like this woman will go down as fucking heroes, okay? 20, 30 years from now, they're going to be like, who were the ones ringing the alarm bells? And who were the ones bending the fucking knee and kissing the fucking ring?
To kind of figure out what these other buildings on the campus are over here, as well as this one and this one. So we know that these are the different cell blocks, those 8 buildings that look symmetrical. And this, I believe, is where the employees enter. On the other side of this dot, there's a parking lot. So this would be administrative buildings, as well as break rooms for the employees, as well as I do know that there is a confirmed gym for employees on property. Now the whole campus
Oh yeah, because the Nazi guards need somewhere to blow off steam.
Travel as a way to amplify the sound of any footsteps of would-be escaping prisoners. So this is where I start to ask a lot of questions, because we know that all of this area at the front is administrative, processing, the parking lot, employee use. We see that there is a separation there. We also know that there are 8 identical cell blocks.
Exactly.
And then we also have nothing in between. Again, this is completely covered in gravel. Nobody goes outside. There is no yard. There is no walking across campus to go to a meal, nothing. Which leaves these 2 buildings in the middle, this larger one and then this small one that includes a small yard. Let me show you some other angles before we do a deeper dive.
See, these are the fucking death camps.
This time we have the entrance to the property here. You see all of that employee use, administrative, whatever else, laundry, I don't know. And then you have the separation followed by the 8 cell blocks and then these 2 facilities over here, whatever they are. And another from the other end of the property, there's the cell blocks, again, that middle portion. Back to our aerial view, this is a close-up of this little building with the yard, and this is that larger one, so those 2 buildings that are central to the campus. As you can see, there's just these, I don't know, 2...
Thank you for the $5, Samantha. El Salvador is run by an authoritarian regime also, so it's highly probable most of the people are political prisoners. Yes, well, the thing is, the way that El Salvador lowered its crime rate was by arresting everybody in the nation with neck tattoos, regardless of whether the tattoos had to do with gang affiliation. So I'm pretty sure El Salvador is like the largest incarcerated population in South America.
Shelters, basically 2 buildings, and then this empty yard, which clearly is not used for anything like exercise. Nothing is stored there. It's very out of place. This image is fresh from its opening. This is what it looked like. And now, trigger warning, the next image I'm going to show you is highly graphic. This is the Google Earth image I pulled today. Today is Sunday, April 13th, 2025. And as you can see, there are some major changes at this point. In between these 2 buildings, which are centrally located again in the middle of the campus, gone is the grass here. In fact, there seems to be a lot of, pavement or tar or something, as well as these very strange diagonal lines between the 2 parts of the property. You also see that this is now all paved over or graveled over. There is no grass where there once was. And most concerning of all, we see these very distinct Merlot colored splashes or stains on this part of the property. A large one here, as well as some over
Merlot
here.
colored.
Now there is controversy on the internet that this might be a pile of human bodies. I've taken this picture 7 different ways to Sunday and put it into different various platforms, trying to get the contrast to show me something, trying to get the sharpness to show me something. I have played with this image and I cannot make it any more clear. So that is where we are in terms of the debate. But I think I have some evidence to back up that this could in fact be a shower situation, much like the 1930s Germany situation. Both in combing through the internet and even using various AI platforms to ask questions about this place, I have not been able to find anything about the blueprints to this facility. But I did find that there are 3 construction companies that were contracted.
This is where it's about to get really fucking dark. This is where it's gonna start to get really fucking dark.
Out to help build this facility. 2 of the 3 are listed as just building infrastructure. We're talking roads, we're talking the outside structures of buildings, but there was one that caught my eye. Inversiones Omni, OMNI, is a construction company that is contracted.
Bitcoin-funded pet hospital? No shit. No fucking shit. It closed, you stupid fuck.
Often in El Salvador to build medical facilities. And in 2022, they helped to build and open the Chivo Pets Veterinary Hospital. Specifically, it opened on February 26, 2024. Obviously, things didn't end well for them, but it was the first public veterinary hospital offering affordable and comprehensive medical care for pets. Services included everything from basic consultations to emergency care to surgeries, hospitalizations, rehab, radiology, etc.
You know what else they do to animals in veterinary clinics? Do you know what else that they do? What have you done when your animal? What'd you do? You took her to the vet. You said goodbye, and they euthanized it. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Germany had a euthanasia program before it had the death camps. Legal euthanization. It was, mentally disabled kids. It was like 15,000 kids euthanized. Then it moved into the mentally disabled adults, and only when the Catholic Church came out and reminded these people, hey, these are still Germans that you're killing, did they stop. And when the public was outraged, well, they stopped doing it legally. They stopped telling the public what they were doing, and they just did it illegally. Here we go.
My question is this. As a pet owner, I know that unfortunately sometimes you take your sick pet to the vet and things don't work out, or there are surgeries in which the animal does not survive. And what do we need in order to properly send home the ashes of a pet to their owner? A crematorium of some kind? Is it possible that this specific construction company was able to replicate this on a larger scale? I say yes.
It is possible. Yes. Because a crematorium for an animal and a crematorium for a human are the same fucking thing, because humans are animals. I know that we're in 2025 and we got dumb motherfuckers who think the planet is flat, space is fake, and humans aren't animals. But human beings are animals. The only difference between a fucking crematorium for an animal and a crematorium for a human is the size. And if you're dealing with bodies, you can just fucking cram it in. Kilmar could be coming back. I highly fucking doubt that. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on is this. The pictures that she was talking about. Do I even have to say anything? Do I have to say anything? Because if you look at this and you support it, you're inferior. If you look at this and you don't know, that's fine. You don't know what it is? As long as we can investigate further, fine. But if you look at this and you see what I see, and you go, yeah, this is good, and we should keep sending people there, and we should send U.S. citizens there, you're an oxygen thief. You're no longer American. You're no longer human. You're no longer human. Anyway, for the people who are watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, that's all I got for you. For the people who are here live, you stay. We're going to keep going. But A quick reminder to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing. It helps me immensely. If you do want to help the channel financially, become a patron, become a member, buy some merch, and use that 40% off discount on Ground News. Also, do me a favor, hit that video on screen. It's a banger. I'll catch you in the next one. All right. Genuinely, what else could it be? I don't fucking know. Pigs? What? Maybe they're serving them pork? But you wouldn't leave pig bodies out like that. You wouldn't do that. No, bro, that's not pigs. I'm just saying. Fear-mongering. How am I fear-mongering, the Livestone? Please tell me what I said that wasn't true. We don't know if that's a stack of people. Yeah, I know. Sure as hell looks like it. What do you think it is? I don't know if that's a stack of people. I think it is. What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Could be anything. What do you think? Give me a guess. Because to me, and to everybody else in this chat except for you, this looks like a pile of bodies. What does it look like to you? Sometimes you gotta think. You're putting bodies in my head, so hard to see anything, ergo fear-mongering. I'm not putting bodies in your head, bro. Fucking what? Okay, fine. What do you think this stuff is? What does this look like to you? Why is this red stained? What is that? Take the bodies out of the equation. What do you think that is? Cleaning chemicals like detergent. Cleaning chemicals? Why the fuck would they be cleaning concrete? But again, dude, look at the hoops you're jumping through. Listen, I don't care who you voted for or what you support or not. Basic question. Does that look like a pile of bodies to you? Because it does to me. And it does to everyone else in the fucking chat. How you doing, Ritsu? Unbelievable. That's not enough info to make a conclusion. I agree. But it's definitely enough info to start ringing alarm bells and be like, hey, we know. Let me ask you something, Livestone. Do you think that image is at least alarming? Like, hey, what the fuck is that? Do you consider that to be alarming? Typical lib fear-mongering. A, I'm not a lib. B, your profile picture is Donald Trump, dude. There's nothing anybody can say to get you out of the cult. And C, nothing I said was false. So I don't understand how you're saying I'm fear-mongering. Does that at least alarm you, the Livestone? I'm MAGA, and even I'm super concerned about this. Good. I didn't miss for the hi, destroy competition. Claiming some wild stuff without evidence. I'm not claiming anything. I'm saying that that looks like a pile of bodies, which it does. Definitely looks like a pile of bodies. Trump 2028. Okay, so let me ask you a simple question, Patriot. Do you support the U.S. Constitution? Nice, Kyle. Hell yeah. Fusroda. Okay, so Patriot, you support the Constitution. Now another question. Do you support circumventing the 22nd Amendment so that Trump can run in 2028? Because you just said Trump 2028. Troubling for sure, even without the idea that pictures probably. All right, good. I'm glad you at least have some concern. Amending it. No, Patriot. They're not planning on amending it. Would you like me to show you? I can prove this. They're not planning on amending the Constitution at all. They want to circumvent it. Would you like me to show you? I can show you. Here. I'll pull it up for you. Obama can run too? No, you are incorrect, Invincible Patriot. I can prove this to you if you will give me 5 minutes of your time. I can prove this to you. Would that be all right? No, Invincible Patriot, it says, okay. All right, first thing we're going to do is this. I'm going to show you that they are not planning on amending the Constitution. They are planning on circumventing it. Here.
Said we're going to amend the Constitution.
Oh, wait.
We're working on...
Wait, ready?
I haven't said we're going to amend the Constitution. We're working on 5 or 6 different alternatives that President Trump could run again and be president. And quite frankly, I think 4 or 5 of them are going to work. And I continue to say, as I told Bill Maher, on the afternoon of January 20th of 2029, Donald Trump's going to be president for his 3rd term.
So listen to the beginning part again, Patriot. Ready?
I haven't said we're going to amend the Constitution. We're working on 5 or 6 different alternatives that President Trump could run again and be president. And quite
so he just said blatantly, they're not trying to amend the Constitution. They're trying to find ways around it. Do you at least admit to what you just heard? He just said this in front of you. Who is this random? That's Steve fucking Bannon, dude. He's the former White House chief strategist. He was Trump's chief strategist. He's still part of the Trump team. This is the guy planning the Trump 2028 campaign. This is the guy in charge of the Trump 2028 campaign. That is Steve Bannon. That's not some rando. Okay. So that part. Now, Invincible Patriot, the last thing I wanted to show you, because I said I would, is the part where Obama cannot run again. Would you like me to show you this? I can show you this. Okay, look at this. All right, so you were talking about amending the Constitution. Now, we did just watch them say we're not going to try to amend it. But to your point, Representative Andy Ogles proposes amending the 22nd Amendment. Now, look at this. This is important. This is the writing here, okay? I want you to pay attention to this. The proposed amendment is this. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times. So what does that mean? That means Trump could run a 3rd term, right? That's what that means, Patriot? It means Trump can run a 3rd term, right? If this went through. Okay, now get this next part. Listen to this carefully. Nor be elected to any additional term after being elected to 2 consecutive terms. How many terms did Barack Obama serve? How many terms did Barack Obama serve, Patriot? 2. And were they consecutive, Patriot? Were they consecutive? Yes. So what does this mean? No person shall be elected to the office of president more than 3 times, nor be elected to any additional term after being elected 2 consecutive terms. This right here says that only Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the only 2 living presidents that would be allowed to run again. Because Obama served 2 consecutive terms, Bill Clinton served 2 consecutive terms, George W. Bush served 2 consecutive terms. The only 2 people who didn't serve 2 consecutive terms were Joe Biden and Donald Trump. well, he really ran 3 because it was a shadow presidency with Joe Biden. Even if you believe that, which I don't, key word is shadow. He didn't run a 3rd term. He wasn't actually the president. But do you at least admit now that I've shown you, Mr. Patriot, that no, Obama would not be allowed to run. It would simply be Donald Trump. It would only be Donald Trump. Yes, Joe Biden could run too, if this went through. But, I mean, holy shit, that would be fucking insanely stupid. It would be insanely stupid. Explain what consecutive means? It just means one after the next. So, I ask you again, Mr. Patriot, do you support the United States Constitution? Yes, of course. Okay. So, do you understand that the Constitution says Trump cannot run a 3rd term? I'm a gun owner. So am I, Patriot. Excuse me. So there's another legal way for Trump to be president in 2028. So you are saying that you would support changing the U.S. Constitution for the sole purpose of Trump running a 3rd term. The whole reasoning behind literally amending the Constitution is so Trump can run a 3rd term? If they amended the Constitution legally, would you support that? Absolutely not. No. Look, where in our golden age, where not under the Democrats' thumb. We are not in a golden age, brother. The economy is in fucking shambles. Inflation is at an all-time high, and we are in a housing crisis. We are not in a golden era. But again, Patriot, let me ask you in a simpler term. What matters more to you? The United States Constitution as it is right now, or Donald Trump serving a 3rd term? Which one is more important to you? Gilded Age is a terrible thing, Johnny. The Gilded Age was a horrible time period for the American working class. I don't know, that's a long ways away. I'll think about it, but I support the Constitution over any president. Seemingly you don't, Patriot, because you are saying that you would support rewriting the Constitution, not for like sound reasoning, like all the amendments we've had and added into the Constitution was for sound reasoning, like abolishing slavery, giving women the rights to vote. You're saying that you would support rewriting the U.S. Constitution for the sole purpose of one man being allowed to run for president. You are in a cult. You are okay with rewriting the very binding of this nation, the glue that holds us together, to allow one man to run again. You're in a cult. You're in a cult. It's scary. It's really scary. And you call yourself a patriot. Meanwhile, you are advocating to rewrite the Constitution for one man. For one dude. I can't understand it. I can't understand it, dude. I can't understand it. No, Hello Strikes. That would be a violation of the 12th Amendment. Trump's not a man. He was saved by God. Yeah, dude. Thank you for proving my point that you're in a cult. You no longer even think that he's a man. You think he's more than man? So wait, if he's not a man, what is he? Invincible Patriot. If Trump is not a man, what is he? Thank you for proving my point even more. He's a man, but God saved him for this role. So you believe he was chosen by God to be the president of the United States? I don't know why he was saved. That's just what happened. But by your logic, Invincible Patriot, didn't God also choose Joe Biden? Didn't God also choose Joe Biden to be the president in 2020? God is allowing literal green card holders to die in El Salvador. Yeah, I know. God's an asshole. It's called Trials and Tribulations. Trump is being us out of satanic stuff. Oh, okay. So you're mentally disabled. I can't help you. I've been trying. We've been having a relatively civil conversation, but if you think that like satanic energies and demons are like corrupting the Democrat Party, you're mentally disabled. I can't fix you. You need professional help. I can't do that. All right, let's get that YouTube video up. We gotta make a thumbnail. You support this woke stuff. What is this woke stuff? What do you mean? We gotta make a thumbnail. Like letting kids get trans operations. No. I don't support letting kids get sex changes. Did you know that's federally illegal in all 50 states? And the 6 doctors that have ever provided sex changes to children under the age of 18 have all been arrested. Did you know that? Why did Dems support that then? They didn't. You fell for right-wing propaganda. What Democrats have been talking about is gender-affirming care, which is almost always mental health care. It's therapy. You are advocating to get rid of therapy for children who have gender dysphoria, which is a mental disability. It's a mental health problem. You give them gender-affirming care. That's how you deal with it. See the kidnapping outbursts and arrests Oh, we were going to cover Marjorie Taylor Greene's town hall in a second. Don't worry. How is socialism benefiting you? Brother, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, the VA, SNAP benefits. Those are all socialist policies, you dumb motherfucker. Fucking idiot. Thank you for the $2, Lillian Eisen. Yeah, socialism is why you have a weekend, by the way. Socialism is why you only have to work an 8-hour workday instead of a 12-hour workday. Socialism is why you have unions. Oh, what the fuck did I just do? No, Chris, Johnny doesn't believe we should have weekends and thinks companies should be able to put their workers under unworkable conditions for unlivable pay. That sounds terrible. Okay, I think I'm back on Team Trump if these are leftists. Yeah, dude. I get it. You don't want policies that make your life better. I get it. You're dumb. Socialism doesn't make anyone's life better. Really? Tell that to your grandmother who's getting Social Security checks. Your grandmother lives off rental income and dividends. Your grandmother collects Social Security. You don't need to lie. Social Security robbed my family for years or robbed you for years? No, Social Security didn't rob your family for years. Your grandmother can claim her Social Security check, and she has been. I don't know why you're lying for fun, but it just goes to show the desperation of MAGA Republicans. She had it stolen from her when she was very young. No, she didn't. You are lying. I don't understand why. Well, I do actually understand why. It's because MAGA Republicans have to literally lie in order to defend their policy beliefs. Watch this. Hey, Johnny, do you think we should get rid of food stamps? $30 says he says yes. It's called hard work, bud. Oh, yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Hard work. Yes, Cecot is a death camp. Why are you so mad and calling it a death camp? We're exporting terrorists to where they belong. So the White House admitted that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was wrongfully deported, and he is actually not a terrorist. So I don't know why. I mean, maybe you just... Dude, there's nothing I can do to help you. You just spoon-feed propaganda into your fucking mouth, then you thank them. Is it work shall set you free or work will set you free? What is it? I'm in Montfrey. Work sets you free. All right, we're going to go with... Okay. Sorry, guys. I just got to get this upload posted. Okay, so the title of this video... Episode 87. Cecot is a death camp. Defcon 2. Welcome to the 1930s. Cecot is the modern-day Auschwitz, and ICE is the modern-day Gestapo. We have reached the bottom of the fascist hill and arrived at full-fledged Nazism. Valenti Vod. No, this is not made for children. Show advertisements, monetize, Sensitive events. This video is going to get demonetized because of the bodies. Add an end screen, but I don't give a fuck. Cecot is a death camp, Defcon 2. Welcome to the 1930s. Okay. All right, limited ad revenue. I'll take that. I'll take limited ad revenue. Publish. All right, video's up. Video is up and running. Yeah, hope all your socials get banned. Why is that? Is it because you don't like when people disagree with you and you would prefer they be silenced? You just don't want anybody to be allowed to publicly disagree? Is that what you mean? They don't believe in free speech. You're comparing Prigiona to Nazi death camps. Yeah, so I studied fascism, and the fact that there's never been any piece of proof that Kilmar Garcia is alive, and we have satellite images of what look like bodies. Yes, I've come to the conclusion that Cecot is a death camp. Yeah. But again, let me ask you, why do you want all of my social media platforms banned? Why do you not want me to have media presence? He's an illiterate old dude. Why are we arguing with Invincible Patriot? Because there are people here who are simply watching. And if we banned this guy, he wouldn't be able to publicize his, lack of intelligence. And this is how people who are just watching and don't know what to think, they realize, they go, well, I don't want to be affiliated with somebody like that because that's an idiot. So sometimes you have to shine the light on the bug underneath the rock so that everybody goes, oh my God, that's disgusting. I don't want to go underneath the rock. That's sometimes what you have to do. Because you fear-mongering, you're a fear-mongering. Again, the fact that you're feeling fear and that everybody else is feeling fear is the fault of the Trump regime. I am reporting on the news. It is not my fault that you are feeling a sense of fear. That is the world that Donald Trump has created. What if it's not a death camp, then what? Oh, we should still probably bring back the man who was wrongfully deported. Let me ask you something, Invincible Patriot. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that the Trump administration needs to bring back that man. Do you think it's okay that the Trump regime said no to the Supreme Court and their 9-0 unanimous decision? Do you think that's okay? International waters don't have jurisdiction. Okay, so this has nothing to do with international waters. See, the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that the Trump regime must facilitate the return of Kilmar Garcia. Do you think it's okay that they have refused a Supreme Court ruling? Yes or no? Do you think it's okay that they have refused a Supreme Court ruling? Yeah, facilitate? Okay, so you are saying that because the Supreme Court didn't use the word effectuate, which would mean you got to bring them home, because of the verbiage and semantics, because they said facilitate, it doesn't mean they got to bring them home. That's what the paper says. Okay, so let me ask you something, Invincible Patriot. What if I asked you to facilitate the return of this man? What would that mean to you? What would it mean to you? What would you have to do? If I ordered you and I had some sort of authority to order you to do it, I say, Invincible Patriot, you must facilitate the return of this man. What does that mean to you? They're MS-13 gang members. That's incorrect. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not a member of MS-13. I have a document from court that proves it. No, you do not. He's an El Salvadorian citizen, not an American. I agree. He's not an American citizen. He is a permanent legal resident, a green card carrying member of the United States. They had no authority to deport him. In fact, I actually have, in this notebook, I have a piece of paper that proves that Invincible Patriot is a member of MS-13 as well. And since, we don't do due process for gang members, we should just call ICE and get him deported, right? Because there's no need for due process for undocumented immigrants, right? Invincible Patriot, you're an undocumented immigrant. Aaron Ross, they confirmed he was... No, they did not confirm it. Also, Aaron Ross, you're an undocumented immigrant. Got my papers. Doesn't matter, Invincible Patriot. You don't get a court date. That's what due process is. You would need those papers if you had due process, but because you're an undocumented immigrant, you don't get a court date. You're just getting deported. I'm a citizen? No, you're not. You're an undocumented immigrant. If they came to my house, I'll have papers. No, they didn't come to your house. They picked you up off the street. You didn't have your papers on you. They would see my name in the system. No, because they're not going to look in the system. There's no due process. Everything you're saying is due process. You're talking about proof. You're saying that you should be allowed to prove that you're a citizen. Is that what you're saying, Aaron Ross or Patriot? Are you saying that if you're accused of being an undocumented immigrant, you should be allowed to prove in a court of law that that is untrue? Is that what you are saying? They only go after non-citizens? Want to bet? Do you want to bet? Do you want to bet? Do you want to bet?
Notorious prison in El Salvador.
And he's done a fantastic job.
Today, Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele said he's got no plans to...
Look at you, bud. Yeah, because Trump said in an interview that he's considering sending U.S. citizens there. Before I prove this to you, would you support sending U.S. citizens to the extermination camp in El Salvador? Patriot, would you support sending born in the U.S. citizens? Would you support that? That 19-year-old was probably a terrorist. Yeah, see, Aaron, how you said probably? You have to prove it in a court of law. So you wouldn't... Okay, so one more question, Patriot. If Trump says right now that he wants to send U.S. citizens to the extermination camp in El Salvador, will you stop supporting him? Will you stop supporting him? If it's legal. It's not legal at all, and he'll say it himself. It's not legal. By any shred of the word legal, there is no legal way to send a U.S. citizen to an El Salvadoran prison camp. That's not legal. So again, Invincible Patriot, if Trump says it, will you stop supporting him? I won't support Trump if he says that. All right, get ready to change your profile picture.
Into the United States or whatever, of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous.
The Supreme Court unanimously ruled late last week that Abrego Garcia's removal to El Salvador was, quote, illegal, and ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return. The administration claims Abrego Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang, but a federal judge said last week they have offered, quote, no evidence to back that up, and he has no criminal record here or in El Salvador. After that ruling, President Trump told reporters this.
I have great respect for the Supreme Court. If they said to bring him back, I would tell them to bring him back.
But now the administration argues that federal courts have no authority to direct the executive branch on how to conduct foreign relations. And Attorney General Pam Bondi said today that bringing Abrego Garcia back would be up to El Salvador.
That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us.
And over the weekend, 10 more migrants were sent to that prison in El Salvador. Trump said he likes it, even for U.S. citizens, suggesting Americans could be next.
I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that.
Okay, so Patriot, you no longer support Donald Trump because you said if Trump says that, you won't support him. And now that you see Trump say that, you're no longer going to support him. Now, let's all be fucking for real. What you're going to do is move the goalpost because you're in a cult. And there's nothing Donald Trump can do that can make you stop cradling his nuts and blowing on his cock. There's nothing he can do. Now, let's watch you move the goalpost. Go ahead. Tell us how you do support that. After saying that you don't and wouldn't. Come on. Give it to me. We all know how predictable you Trump supporters are. He replied. Well, reply again. He's already backpedaling. What'd he say? He said, only the worst of the worst. There's the goalpost. Obey the laws. If he finds out there's no legal way, he won't do it. No, he'll do it. So, now that you see that Trump wants to deport U.S. citizens to a prison camp in El Salvador, please tell me why you still support it. Please. So fucking predictable. I don't even need to play the hot mic. He said it on the fucking plane mic when he knew the cameras were on. He's not going to do it if it's not legal. So then why does he want to do it if it's not legal? Why does he want to do it if it's not legal? Because it's not legal. Thank you, Justin C. I appreciate that. If you have recent blood work done, yes. And I don't have facial bloating, dude. That's just what my fucking face looks like. He said we have to obey the laws. Yes, and there is no way to deport a U.S. citizen to El Salvador legally. So what he's saying is, I want to break the law. I hope that helps. Okay, then boom, he won't do it. Then why does he want to? Why does he want to do it? Only legal if you are deaf. No, he said he wants to send homegrown U.S. citizens to the El Salvadorian prison camp if it's legal. Now, here's the thing. It's not legal. That if no longer matters. I'm telling you right now, every single U.S. scholar agrees. I'll even ask ChatGPT if you want. It is not legal to send U.S. citizens to an El Salvadorian prison camp. So, why does he want to do it even though it's illegal? Why does he want to do it even though it's illegal? Said he would do it if it's legal. If it's not legal, therefore he won't do it. Well, it's not legal. So why does he say that he wants to do something that's illegal? And why do you support him trying to do something that isn't legal? It's not legal. It's very simple. It's not legal.
the mandate, the people.
Only the stupid support Social Security. Dude, I really do appreciate you staying in here to show people just how fucking brain dead the right wing are. You're doing a great service to the watchers, the people who aren't really chatters. Because if you're a chatter, you've picked the side. But the watchers see something like that and go, wait, that's MAGA? They think Social Security is bad and should be destroyed? Just real quick, Aaron Ross, can you just say proudly that you think we should get rid of Social Security so that these people can see what MAGA is? Can you do it real quick? Just admit that you think Social Security should be completely abolished. It'd help a lot. Hell no, don't get rid of it. Well, Patriot, this is what Donald Trump wants. This is what you are along board with this. I think so. He says, I think we should abolish Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and the VA, just like what Milton Friedman suggested. Yeah, well, my grandma uses it. Dude, Donald Trump hates your grandmother. He hopes she fucking dies. Why? Because your grandmother is a leech to society and she's using money. That's what Donald Trump believes. That's what Aaron Ross believes. That's what the people you shoulder to shoulder stand with and salute Donald Trump believe. They want you and your fucking grandmother to not get any health care or any Social Security because you mean fucking nothing to them. Why do you support this man? If Social Security didn't exist, your grandmother never would have been taxed her whole life and she would already have had that money. Oh, I see. Yeah. Prove it. Well, you're looking at it. Aaron Ross is a fellow MAGA member. He wants to get rid of Social Security. Elon Musk wants to get rid of Social Security. He called it the biggest scam of all time. Elon Musk has already begun defunding Social Security. Children who have dead parents no longer receive Social Security checks, which was a system that we had in place because that's just what a functioning society does when children don't have parents. But you support Elon Musk. You support the Doge cuts. You support Donald Trump. You support your own demise. You advocate for policies that are destroying your grandmother's fucking financial security. Why? You're in a cult. You're in a cult. You're in a cult. You're in a cult. You can still leave the cult. You don't need to just blow Donald Trump for the rest of your life. But anyway, let's watch.
The mandate, the people wanted to change everything. And they wanted to. He demanded. They love you. They love what you do. You know, I'm not if you're supportive. I want him to do, homegrown criminals next.
Homegrown criminals next. That's what he just said. Listen to it again.
What I want to do, homegrown criminals next. Yeah. I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns built. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah. You got to build about 5 more places.
That's fair. All right. It's not big enough. No, yeah. Come on. So.
Yeah, so we're preparing to start sending U.S. citizens to this prison camp. But again, the Trump cult will advocate and support this because anybody who still supports Donald Trump is in a cult. He's joking. You're serious right now? He's joking? Are you serious right now? Because if you are, I'm banning you. I'm not going to deal with somebody who's actually mentally fucking disabled. Are you serious that he's joking? Are you dead ass right now? Are you dead ass? It's a joke. I don't think he's joking. Okay, thank God. Holy ever-loving fuck. Okay, let's watch Marjorie Taylor Greene's nightmare of a town hall. I've written on an OPED on why we need to roll back all unconstitutional federal programs. The New Deal only existed because FDR twisted the arm of the Supreme Court. Are you about to say that the New Deal wasn't a good thing and that FDR was a bad president? FDR was the most unconstitutional president, threatening to balloon the court if they didn't pass it. Holy shit, wow. You don't think FDR is a good president, even though he pulled us out of the Great Depression? Jesus. What else? You think Lincoln was a bad president for freeing the slaves? Holy shit. Okay. We're going to cover some of this. Patriots started talking about kids, so I banned them. All right, yeah. No, good. I'm curious. What did he say? Because I didn't catch it. Without, like, fucking... Without saying exactly what he say. What did he say? Chris, see my last message? Yeah, he said some weird shit about kids. Jack, you could text me what he said. Because I'm curious now. Text me what he said. All right, I'm going to grab a monster, and then we're going to cover... Marjorie Taylor Greene getting fucking destroyed. You do realize that the Constitution prohibits the federal government from redistributing our money without consent to fund programs that are delegated to the state, right? If you care about the Constitution, you should be against Social Security and FDR's programs. No, I like Social Security, and I thought the New Deal was great. The New Deal brought us out of the Great Depression and brought about a new age of American economic booming. So, yeah, no, FDR was a great president. There's a reason why he was elected 4 times. You're against the Constitution? No, I'm not. I have a white monster, yeah. I'm very pro-Constitution. I also think FDR was one of the best presidents in American history. He may have been the best. FDR may have been the best president in American history. Feel like your chat gets wilder every day? Well, the more you fucking make fun of the Fuhrer, the more the Nazis get pissed. Text sent? Let's see. Holy shit. Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. These people are fucking disgusting. FDR shit on the Constitution. The Supreme Court was going to strike down Social Security before he threatened to expand the court by 9 members. Yeah, so I think FDR was a fantastic president. He brought America out of the Great Depression, brought about a new age of economic ingenuity, helped us survive the Second World War. He got elected 4 times. He was such a good president that he got elected 4 times. Yeah. I think you have to be pretty much mentally disabled in order to say that FDR was a bad president. Anyway, let me go grab that monster and then we'll get ready to cover this, okay? I gotta slam some water because I don't drink enough. That's not the federal government's job. Their job is not to keep you out of poverty. Their job is to protect your constitutional rights. Yeah, so I like when the government uses government funding, which is taxpayer dollars, to keep us out of poverty. I believe that our tax dollars should be going to programs that help out the most marginalized people in our communities, and also into infrastructure programs to make our cities better. Things like building a monorail system across the entire United States. Granted, you probably don't support that because just pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Welcome back, Jack. How you doing, buddy? Ow! This isn't just me hating poor people, it's a foundational economic understanding. No, I get it. You also hate poor people, which probably makes sense. That probably tracks. Let me ask you something. Basic question. If somebody broke their arm and it would cost you and 99 other people $1 to fix their arm, or it would cost that person $100 to fix their arm, would you support paying the dollar? Beta male energy. Oh, we've got a fucking turbo wolf in the chat, folks. We've got a wolf in the chat. Oh, well, it turns out if you're the alpha wolf, I'm the turbo wolf, which makes me a position higher than you. Okay. In this hypothetical, I guess I would go with the collective. Okay, cool. So then you and I agree on social policy that, you know, we should be using our tax dollars so that, you know, people can afford health care. Wrong! Taxes are stealing. I didn't consent to them. Okay, so what are you, an anarchist? You just don't want any taxes whatsoever? Explain why socialism is good then, bro. Because it democratizes the workforce. The majority of this nation is the workforce. I believe that we should have more say in things like our minimum wage or our vacation times. On top of that, I think that we should be using our tax dollars to create programs that make the lives of the average American better. Something like infrastructure programs, new roads, maybe a monorail system so that we don't have to be such a car-reliant society. Maybe something like a free college or university or a free hospital in every city. And now I know nothing's free. That's why I'm saying your tax dollars would go into boosting those programs. I'm not saying that you need to pay more in taxes. I'm saying that currently your tax dollars are going to the military-industrial complex, companies like Lockheed Martin or Raytheon. And what they're doing with your tax dollars are creating bombs, selling those bombs to Israel, and killing brown people. All I'm saying is that your tax dollars should go into programs that make your life better. I have a question. So Aaron, real quick before we move on, because I do want to move on. Aaron, do you think that the government, that we shouldn't pay any taxes at all? Do you think that no, taxes should not exist? Like the Soviet Union? No, the Soviet Union was nothing like that. But I'm certain you don't know that, so it doesn't matter. We should pay minimal taxes to fund the military, the courts, any border, and on a federal level, states do what they want. Okay, so question, Aaron Ross. You do understand that there are some R&D, like research and development, sectors that have no return on investment. And the example I want to give you is cancer research. You will pour so much more money into cancer research than you will get out because it's cancer research. We're trying to fight practically a losing battle. You understand that, yes? Okay. So you're saying you would privatize all R&D, but Aaron, do you understand that there are some R&D that there isn't a return on investment? I let Big Pharma do all the pharma R&D. Aaron, do you understand what I'm saying? There's some R&D where there's no return on investment. Then why would we do it? Because cancer research is important. We need to be able to treat cancer and hopefully in the future cure it. But Aaron, simple question. Do you understand that everything beneficial to society has a return on investment? Okay, so but we're talking about financially. You agree that there's no financial return on investment. Cancer would have a huge return on investment. Yes, but you're talking about socially. We're talking financially. There is no financial return on investment for cancer research. We have poured more money into cancer research than we've gotten out. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna just keep talking if you're just gonna avoid the obvious here. There is no financial return on investment when it comes to cancer research. So no sane private institution would pick up cancer research because it's a money suck. You're just going to be pouring money into a black hole. That's why the federal government takes care of things like cancer research, because they use our tax dollars to go into those programs knowing that there may not be a return on investment financially, but our society will benefit if we can find treatments and cures to cancer. Invite me to a Discord call? No. Because this is nonsense. Dude, you're a fucking nobody. I'm not fucking inviting you to a Discord call. I'm fucking working right now. Drugs cost money? They do. And we use taxpayer dollars that go into government-funded programs to do the R&D. It's that simple. Add him to a Discord? Dude, I don't even fucking have Discord. We don't need tax money for that. Pfizer will invest money in building these drugs to sell for profit. Brother, the drugs don't exist. That's why it's R&D. We don't have cancer cures. We have cancer treatment, but we put more money into discovering better treatments and for trying to find a cure. I can't explain this over and over again, so I'm just going to put it simply. Things like cancer research have no financial return on investment. You will spend $50 million to try and find some sort of treatment for this cancer only to discover, hey, we don't have the science yet. So that $50 million you just poured in is a fucking waste. If you privatized all research and development for something like cancer research, no private company would ever pick it up because they know it would just be a financial suck. It would be a black hole for their money. This is why we rely on the government to do things like this, because they're using our tax dollars. It's not for profit. It's for societal benefit. But we're going to move on. I can't get sidetracked any longer. I've got to do this. Okay? Okay? It's not a black hole because they succeed. Yes, keyword if. That is why no private company will pick that up. They don't rely on if we succeed, we'll make money. They rely on we need to make money. You live in a nation like the United States of America. You're not stupid enough to think that any private company would pick it up for the big if. Be so fucking for real with yourself. Anyway, I'm moving on. I gotta move on. Aaron, I gotta move on. You can stay here, but we gotta talk about what I have on the screen. I gotta move on. I'm fucking working, all right? Is that cool? You can stay here. I don't kick people for fucking disagreeing with me. I kick people for being really weird, for saying slurs, or for spamming the chat. But is this okay? We're moving on. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. We gotta move on, brother. I welcome, differing opinions. I welcome that debate. And when I say debate, I mean, you guys can fucking debate in the chat. You can talk to me. But I don't pull people up and do Discord video calls. I'm not fucking doing that. That's really fucking weird. Does this guy think people don't want to make money? I don't know what he thinks. Anyway. Good afternoon, Nishi's Vodlog. How are you? What's going on? We're about to cover Marjorie Taylor Greene's town hall. So I'm going to start the video. Before I do, Aaron, are you still here? Can we take a deep breath? And can we move on from that last topic? Okay? Can we do that? Can we do that? Yes, you missed the Cecot overview, but that video was already up and running. Luigi, do hydras, likiri. Luigi, kom till Hilfe Laos. Kom. Bosserhund, kom. Kom. Yeah, my dog's name is Luigi. Luigi, do hydras, kom. I think he left. Yeah, I think he left. I thought that was good. Do I like the guy? No, but I thought I think that's important. You got to let the people who are just watching see this type of stuff. You know? Yeah, you can't evaluate a product that doesn't exist. You can't invest in something that you don't know if it will exist. Okay. Let's cover this. What is up, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs? Welcome to the latest episode of the Valenti VOD. I'm your perfect and humble leader, Chris Valenti, and we're going to cover Marjorie Taylor Greene's disastrous town hall that led to fucking 2 people getting stunned with a taser, 3 people arrested. This was the most disastrous town hall I've ever seen in my entire life. And the tide is starting to turn. A lot of MAGA are abandoning ship, okay? Especially after they're seeing that the Trump regime wants to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador. And now that, the economy's in shambles, we're in a fucking global trade war. Chinese goods, all goods in America are skyrocketing because when you tariff Chinese goods, then American companies increase their goods as well because they see an open window and you live in a hyper-capitalist nation. Welcome to the end stage. But yeah, let's just cover this. I mean, we're talking about Republicans, okay? We're talking about Republicans who are screaming at Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is, this is the woman who said that there were Jewish space lasers incinerating Hawaii and that there's a big Jewish cabal in control of the world. So, I mean, this woman is just, there's only one way to describe her. She's a butch body cunt. That's what she is. So, we're going to cover a little bit of this. Protesters tased, arrested at Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's Georgia town hall. 3 people were arrested, 2 of whom were stunned with a taser, police said. Let's see a little bit.
Pandemonium and push.
Let me see the clip. I don't give a fuck
Pandemonium and pushback growing after several town halls held by Republican members of Congress, especially this one. Last night in Georgia, a man was tased for not cooperating with police at an event held by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Police say 3 of those people that were there that night were arrested. Here's a little of that town hall.
What are you doing to protect us in the 14th district from the damage and extreme hardship of Trump's tariffs?
You butch body bitch! That's what she's screaming. Oh no, butch body bigot.
This is a peaceful town hall, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, seems peaceful.
This should not have to happen.
Yeah. This seems so fucking peaceful. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of President Donald Trump's most loyal allies in the House, faced several protesters who were removed by police for disrupting her town hall on Tuesday. So I have a couple of clips from it. Here's one clip here. Also, look at that cucks. Look at the anger in this guy. Dude, she's not gonna blow you, Grandpa. She's not gonna fuck you, Grandpa. Dude, somebody yells boo and you go, shut up! Hold on, one more. Somebody yells boo and you go, shut up! Like, dude, that's not your wife. And we all know that guy would never go to bat for his wife like that. Never in a million fucking years. listen to them cheer. Listen to them cheer. They cheer when they see their fellow American being fucking violently abused by police for exercising their First Amendment right. These are not fucking Americans. These are heathens.
They are the party of violence. They are the party that...
False. Look at this. Hey, MAGA chuds. I know there's still a bunch of you MAGA chuds in here. Watch this. This guy's gonna get thrown out violently for saying the word false.
They are the party of violence. They are the party that... Go. Go.
So, let me ask you, MAGA chuds like Demir700 in the chat, do you support just kicking somebody out for saying the word false? Is that somehow hate speech?
Go. If you want to sit and listen, you're welcome to listen. Everyone across the aisle.
Do you support this too, Demir? And they clap. Listen to them clap and cheer. Listen to them clap and cheer. Hey, Demir, would you be clapping and cheering while watching your fellow man get fucking tased for exercising your First Amendment right? He's attacking them. Really? The one man surrounded by 9 armed police officers is attacking the police. Are you watching the same thing that I'm watching?
This is a peaceful town hall.
Oh yeah,
Now,
so peaceful.
This is a peaceful town hall, ladies and gentlemen.
That's just one clip. We've got more clips.
Are you really doing this? Stop. Stop. Are you really doing this? Stop. Are you really doing this?
Do you think this is excessive, Demir?
Really?
Do you think this guy's clearly leaving?
Stop.
He's walking.
Stop. Are you really doing this?
How many of these fat fucking bald pigs do you need to bring one dude outside? And they clap. Is that you, Demir? Do you clap for this? Are you cheering along with them right now? You would cheer? Jack, ban this fucking Nazi piece of shit. I hope your fucking mom gets cancer.
Thank you.
Fuck you. Suck my fat cock.
Thank you.
Unfucking believable.
FBI, ATF, Border Patrol, ICE, and many FBI, ATF, Border Patrol, ICE, and many local law enforcement, all the way from city, county, and states, all across the country are working together to track down illegal alien criminals, cartels, and terrorists that are not just living at the border. Ladies and gentlemen, they're all inside the interior of the United States.
Yep, which is why Trump is going to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 in 4 days so that he can deploy the military across every single city in these United States and round up as many people as he possibly can.
All inside the interior of the United States. You can head out. The protest is outside. Thank you very much. Protest is outside. Protest is outside. Bye. Have fun out there. City of Ackworth is doing a great job. They have an area for protests outside. Thank you so much.
Jesus Christ. And now they clap and cheer.
Stop.
Brother, these fucking people are Nazis. These fucking people are dead-ass fucking Nazis. Holy shit.
Illegal aliens. Democrats support. They support illegal aliens. Thank you.
I mean, listen, we've been seeing across the entire fucking nation, these Republican town halls are going terribly. I think Chuck Grassley's also went horrible. Chuck Grassley Town Hall. Yeah, watch this. These are Republican voters, by the way. These are not liberals.
You're gonna bring that guy back from El Salvador?
That's the most Republican man in the nation. Listen to that.
You're gonna bring that guy back from El Salvador?
That man smokes 9 packs of Marlboro Reds with breakfast. He grew up in the fucking mines. That man was one of the kids in the mine. That's America. This man is America.
Why not?
Well, because that's not power of Congress.
The Supreme Court said to bring him back.
Yeah, but
what can they do? He's defined the Constitution.
Trump don't care.
If I get an order to pay a ticket for $1,200 and I just say no, does that stand up? Because he's got an order from the Supreme Court and he's just said no.
Yeah. He just said screw it.
The president of that country is not subject to our U.S. Supreme Court.
Okay, so you're saying we can wrongfully deport people to El Salvador and know it's wrong, and the Supreme Court can say, hey, you couldn't deport that guy, you gotta bring him back, and we go, well, too late. That's Chuck Grassley, that's just okay to you? MAGA voters, is this just okay to you? Is this okay for you? Because if it is, you're no longer American. You're Trumpian. You've given up on American values. You know, like due process. You simply stand for anything Trump tells you because you're a good little boy, and you're cupping his nuts while you deep throat his orange cock.
I'm pissed.
Fuck yeah, that is America.
I'm pissed.
I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed too, brother. I'm pissed too. And this is what America is for. While I'm here, 27 years old, tech guy on a computer with a microphone, and I'm live streaming, and I'm doing my fucking job, this is America doing its job. These people are doing their job. They're old. They went out of their way to go meet with this fucking Grim Reaper. This is your job. You ever wondering, what should I do? What can I do? This. If you can't get on the camera, you can't get on the mic, you don't got... Do this. Go to your town hall. Hold your constituents accountable for the fucking shit. Because some of them are the fascists. Some of them are complicit with fascism. That makes all of them fascist. If you are not fighting back against a fascist, you are one. All it takes for evil to prevail in this world is for good men to sit idly by and do nothing. That's all it takes. So, listen, I got probably 1 or 2 more clips from this town hall with Chuck Grassley.
I'm 70, and I am more scared today than I've ever been. And I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not, the man has divided us. And he's taken someone like you that I've looked up to all my life. They don't speak for us. Senator Grassley, I'm sorry.
This is big. I know it might not feel like it's big because of how much shit that Trump is getting away with, but the average American is starting to understand that the billionaires do not care about you. And if you think the billionaires care about you, you're fucking insane. You're insane. All you are to them is a worker or a soldier. They either want you in a factory or in a fucking boot camp. That's it. That's all you're good for.
Congress is created and in violation of the Constitution. My question to you is, why do you believe that President Trump is above the law? And I'll just reinforce what other people have been saying here. Why have you not spoken out for it? Yeah. And we have trusted you.
I want to screenshot this too. I'll screenshot it out.
With our votes. We have sent you to Congress for decades. We expect you to follow through for what we Iowans really want our government.
Or wait, can I do it now? Yeah, I'm just going to quickly screenshot this because I'm going to use this for my thumbnail.
To do and not to have a federal government that is being...
Real quick, I want to address one chatter. Somebody just said half the nation supports Trump, buddy. We're going to do this quickly. Adrian, how many people voted for Donald Trump? I know the answer. I'm assuming you know the answer. We're going to do this super quick. Adrian, how many people voted for Donald Trump? Really quickly. Come on. Come on, Adrian. 55%. Okay, you're an idiot. 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. What's the population of the United States? What's the population of the United States, Adrian? $365 million. Okay. Is 77 million 50% of 365 million? Is 77 million half of that number? No. Okay, so you're a fucking idiot.
Dismantled by this President Trump and Elon Musk. Yeah, I know. Please stand up for what's right and do your jobs.
Your statement gives me a wonderful opportunity to explain to you that constantly, every time I go from my office to the Senate floor, there's journalists not by the dozens, but by a couple dozen, that are there to ask me questions all the time. And I take time to answer their questions. And I never see anything in print that I ever say to them. So I have to assume that you don't get a chance unless you do a vast amount of reading, that you'd ever see anything that I say to the journalists in Washington, D.C. So this is why...
Why is every politician that we have 4,000 years old? I'm frankly certain that's the guy who fucking split the Red Sea. I'm getting Moses vibes. That man was around when Zeus was God. What the fuck, bro?
So this is why on a weekend...
He's 91? He's 91?
Something on my website called The Scoop that carries all the things that I have said.
Brother, we're so fucked if these are our representatives. We're going to watch one more, and then I'm probably going to call it for this.
So how is it that then when judges make decisions that all Trump does is say, oh, they should be impeached, you know, and he is making us afraid to stand up for our own rights because we're going to then be sent to El Salvador. Salvador into a high security.
And we're gonna follow his law?
Judges' rulings should be abided by.
Okay, so what do we do when the President of the United States doesn't abide by the Supreme Court's ruling?
Judges' rulings should be abided by.
I'm certain this old fuck doesn't even know that Trump is ignoring Supreme Court orders. He's too fucking old to even know what he's wearing. Somebody's definitely dressing him up. Do you understand that? That man's not old. That man is so old he can't possibly dress himself. And he gets to rule over fucking millions of people. Ungoddamn believable. Anyway, if you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps me out a lot. It costs you nothing. If you do want to help the channel financially, because this is real independent media, I have no funding, okay? I've never had a conversation with an advertiser or a billionaire or a foreign government, and I'm very proud of that. If you do want to help financially, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can become a patron on Patreon. You can become a member here on YouTube. Big shout out to all my patrons and members. You could buy some Valenti Videos merch down below. You could use a 40% off discount on Ground News Vantage subscription down below, all of which help me grow financially, helps me buy a new laptop, helps me pay my rent. But to people who are here live, you stay. We're not ending the live stream. We are ending the video. Make sure you click that video on screen. Have a good one. All right. Let's get to uploading. Old people can run the country more better. Oh my God, this got more better. How old are you, Adrian? More better. How old are you? More better. You're 26? Jesus fuck. You're 26 years old and you just said more better. God save you. God save your soul, dude. You're so fucked. Yeah, ladies and gents, this is why we need the Department of Education. Okay. So this is episode 88. More better is a saying? Yeah, amongst fucking idiots who don't know the fucking English language. Yeah. Yeah, it's a saying. Holy fuck, dude. Oh. Thank you for that. I needed a good laugh. I'm from the South. What do you expect, bro? I didn't learn all of the complicated English. Okay, no, this guy's trolling. That's a troll. Nobody is that fucking stupid. And if they are that stupid, then what I'm doing is useless because I cannot fix the problem in this nation. You are going to need a re-education program like the 20-year-long denazification program. So the one who voted for Kamala. Yes, sir. Kamala was a dog shit candidate, by the way. But yeah, I was forced between voting for a shit sandwich or a cup of piss. And I voted for the cup of piss. You guys like this thumbnail? Why didn't you like Kamala? Because she was a moderate Republican. Oh, it's golden hour. Here comes the sun. Do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun. I don't know the fucking lines. Kamala's a radical leftist. How is she Republican? No, Aaron. I am a radical leftist. Kamala Harris was not a radical leftist. You're out of your fucking mind. I am a radical leftist. She wasn't far left enough for me. Like, let me ask you something. Even if you believe Kamala Harris is a radical leftist, which she isn't, if Kamala Harris is a radical leftist, what is Bernie Sanders, in your opinion? Okay? He's probably drunk right now. Me? Brother, I don't drink. I mean, I drink, but only on holidays. I smoke a lot of weed, though. A lot of weed. Smoke a lot of weed. All right, we need a title for this, which is Republican Town Halls Go Crazy? If you think Trump is far right, what would you consider Milei? Because Trump is not far right enough for me. I don't know who Milei is. Never heard of him. Bro said you're slurring your words. What? Argentina president? I don't know enough about him to have an opinion. I'm sorry. But, like, if you can compare him to somebody famously, like Hitler is, like, the furthest right you can go. Hitler's the furthest right you can go. And then who is the furthest left? I guess somebody like, I don't know. What's the first? Mao Zedong. Oh, you know what? I think I want Marjorie Taylor Greene instead. Ah, fuck it. Republican town halls erupt in chaos nationwide. MAGA is fading away. Okay. Watch Butch Body Bigot Marjorie Taylor Greene get eviscerated by her own constituents. Says the one who wants communism. Adrian, I'm not a communist, but I'm also certain you don't know what communism is. Real quick, try to do it as fast as you can to prove that you're not Googling it. What is communism? In like layman's terms, like in whatever you think it is, without Googling it as fast as you can. If you don't say it within like 2 minutes, I'm going to assume that you Googled it. Here are the facts. What builds a good economic or limited government? Deregulation, cutting spending. No, so deregulation doesn't help with the economy. We learned that from Reagan. Cutting spending, slowing down growth in the money supply. That's where Reagan, Trump, and that. No, Reagan was terrible for the economy. That's indisputable. Reaganomics, trickle-down economics was awful. It brought about the exporting of American businesses, and it's part of the reason why we're going through all this chaos now, while Trump tries to undo all of the terrible shit that Reagan did. Reagan boomed the economy. Aaron, do you support just sending all of our companies overseas so that they can use other nations' labor laws and not have to hire American workers? That's what you're saying. That's what Ronald Reagan did. Adrian said reallocating wealth and building communes. Oh, okay, so you do know what communism is. Fantastic. You do know what communism is. Okay, I'm not a communist. I don't want to build communes. When it comes to the reallocation of wealth, you're talking about evenly distributing wealth among everybody, because that's not what I support. Yes, it's called comparative advantage. They can produce stuff cheaper. Tariffs don't work. Oh, okay. So you understand that Ronald Reagan destroyed the U.S. economy. Copy that. Good job. Glad we have come to an agreement. Luigi, cut it out. No, Reagan saved it. So you're saying it's a good thing that Ronald Reagan shipped almost all of our manufacturers overseas and that now we don't have an American manufacturing hub and that we import almost all of our goods? You're saying it's a good thing? Because Trump right now is like, I want to bring back American businesses. So you're saying Trump is wrong and we should, it's cheaper this way. Okay, so you don't like Trump's plan to bring back American manufacturing. You think we should just keep on importing it? Yeah, Trump is wrong. Wow. That's crazy. Just build manufacturing? Brother, you just said you want it's cheaper and better to ship manufacturing overseas. You can't choose. You can't choose both. Which one do you want? Do you want manufacturers to come to America, take the profit hit, and build American? Or do you want manufacturers to move overseas, get larger profit margins, and export their goods? That wasn't me. That was Adrian. Oh, whatever. You guys are all the fucking same to me. Republican town halls erupted chaos nationwide. MAGA is fading away. There we go. Publish. All right. That video's up now, too. Trump's doing just that small-time hit for a long-time gain. Yeah, you somehow have faith in Donald Trump, bro. Yeah, we're just going to go through economic depression for, I don't know, 10 years, and then American manufacturers will come back. Copy that, dude. You're a fucking idiot. Chris is a democratic socialist. Indeed, I am. That's how tariffs work? No, that's not how tariffs work. Hey, real quick, Adrian, who pays the tariff? You put a tariff on a foreign import. Who pays the tariff? Us. What do you mean by us? The American consumer? We pay the increased price of the tariffed good once it hits the shelves, right? The company. No. No, Adrian. The consumer pays the tariff. LMAO, if you are against Reagan for shipping our jobs overseas, then you are for tariffs? Yeah, I think tariffs are actually good if you use them properly. Targeted tariffs. Much like Donald Trump in 2017 when he put a targeted tariff on Chinese washing machines, right? He increased the price of Chinese washing machines, and then the American washing machine industry boomed. You can use tariffs properly if you do a targeted tariff on specific goods from specific nations. What Donald Trump did was put a blanket tariff on all goods being imported from every single nation on planet Earth, and then hiked up the tariff on Chinese goods to 145%. That's not good tariff policy. Does that clarify? Does that clarify? How do you think we get manufacturing back in America then? Explain. We use federal money, our taxpayer dollars that go into the government, to start producing government-owned facilities, right? And then if you combine that with democratic socialism, you give the democratization of the workforce to the people, it can be collectively owned. Yes, that's how you do it. You build, like FDR did. FDR used fucking billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars to do the New Deal program, right? To make the New Deal coalition, and hired millions of American workers and put them to work. That's what FDR did. So communism. No, No, you make the federal government use the taxpayer money, which we have put in, to hire, optionally, you don't have to take the job, to hire American workers to build something like a monorail system or manufacturing jobs, right? And then that investment, remember we were talking about return on investments? The government invests all of this money into creating manufacturing centers, and we hire American workers. You'll make all that money back tenfold. That's what I think. Yeah, this is what we did with the railroads. This is what FDR did during the New Deal. This is how we created the national highway system. The federal government used our taxpayer dollars to create the New Deal coalition, hire millions of Americans across the entire nation, and employ them in creating railroads and new road systems and highway systems. That's what we did. That's how we got out of the Great Depression. It's pretty simple. It's fairly simple. A child could understand that. Public stuff is bad, though. Yeah, that's why I think that we should be using our tax dollars to make public stuff good. And also, I'm from New York. We have the subways. We have buses, right? They may not be perfect, but they're better than nothing. You know, I can get to a specific address in less than an hour no matter what, because I could take the Metro North and then I can hop on a subway, or I could take the shuttle, or I could take the bus. We should have public transport in every city in this nation. Do you think the Scandinavian model of socialism would work within the U.S.? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Thank you for the $5, Samantha. The time the harken back to and try to recreate was only possible because of the New Deal. I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. Yes, the great New York subways. Perfect. Adrian, that's why I said our subways aren't perfect, but they're better than nothing. The New York subways are better than the North Dakota subways. How do I know that? There's no subways in North Dakota. Or make them private. What, the subways? You want to make the subways private? That's insane. Japanese subways, though? I know. They're incredible. Same thing with the Chinese monorail systems. Unfucking believable. Praising the CCP? Dude, I just said that the trains in China are incredible, and you say that's praising the CCP. Dude, you are being spoon-fed propaganda. I can't like their trains? Have you seen the Chinese trains? Are you out of your fucking mind? Their trains are Chinese?
This video was made possible by Squarespace. Build your beautiful web country with the most high-speed rail in the world. China is also the poorest country in the world to have any high-speed rail. Despite the country's vast size, China's huge population makes it very dense, especially in the east half. This means that China does have large cities close enough together where it makes sense to take the train rather than the plane. Trips like Guangzhou to Changsha, a distance of 350 miles, take an hour by plane or 2 hours and 20 minutes by train.
350 miles, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Just so you guys understand, do you understand the average speed of American trains? Just guess. What is the average speed of an American train? Just guess. Just guess. Adrian, guess. What is the average speed? 55, too high. 70, too high. 80, too high. 65, too high. 50, too high. 48. 48 miles per hour is the average speed. Do you know what the fucking average speed is in China? Do you know? 350 miles per hour. You fucking idiots.
When factoring in the time it takes to check in, go through security, and board, it absolutely makes sense to go by train when traveling between these two cities, even without considering that the high-speed train is cheaper than flying. High-speed rail even makes sense in China on longer routes where it wouldn't in other countries. Beijing and Shanghai, for example, are about 650 miles apart. Normally, that would be too far for high-speed rail to make sense. Paris and Barcelona, for example, are 500 miles apart, closer than Beijing and Shanghai, but only 2 high-speed trains a day.
So you want a CCP-style government style? Dude, just notice how fucking brand broken you are. We are talking about their trains, and you pathetic, slimy little fuck. You go, oh, so you want Chinese government-style fucking government? We're talking about their trains. You're incapable of even giving them credit for their trains. That's how spoon-fed you are of American propaganda. You can't even give them credit for a train, dude. You lapped up the State Department's fucking propaganda your whole life.
Run between the two cities compared to about 20 flights. Between Beijing and Shanghai, on the other hand, about 50 flights run per day compared to 41 trains. Considering the trains carry far more people each, up to 1,200, trains are therefore the dominant means of transport between
these two. Look at that,
these
guys. That's a dirty communist, that fucking train. That fucking train is a dirty goddamn communist. Fucking piece of shit commie train.
cities. There are a few differences between these two routes. For one, while Beijing-Shanghai by train takes 4 hours and 28 minutes, Paris-Barcelona, despite being a shorter distance, takes a longer 6 hours and 25 minutes. The other factor, though, is about the competition. Europe has an efficient air transport network dominated by budget airlines that are often far cheaper than trains. You can find tickets for flights between Paris and Barcelona for as little as $12, while the cheapest Beijing-Shanghai flights go—
You know how they got that? Slave labor? No, the Chinese train system was not built by slave labor. However, China does practice fucking genocide and slavery among the Uyghur population, who are like Muslims in China. And thank you for asking that. No, I don't support that. I don't support it. I do like their fucking trains. The trains are awesome. Notice how far you're reaching to try and attribute some sort of like, this guy loves the Chinese communist slave wage labor because he likes their trains. Look at how far you're reaching, bro. It's embarrassing.
Go for $74. Air travel within China is also far from efficient. China Southern, China Eastern, and Air China, the 3 largest Chinese airlines, arrive on time an average of 67, 66, and 63% of the time, respectively. A big reason for this is that there's just not enough room in the skies. A majority of China's airspace is military-controlled, meaning that there are just these narrow flight corridors that account for 30% of airspace where civilian planes can fly, with tons—
Yeah, we should put you on a communist watch list. I'm on a communist watch list, brother. I'm not a communist. I'm a democratic socialist. You don't know the difference between those two. We're living through the third Red Scare. Thank you for proving my point. Guys, if you're curious, look up my video, The Third Red Scare, where people like Adrian, uneducated, smarmy little fucking rat people, are at the point where anybody who doesn't agree with the State Department's modus operandi of hyper-imperialism is a dirty commie, and you should be rounded up and sent to El Salvador. Let me ask you, Adrian, do you think I should be rounded up and sent to El Salvador? Is that what you think? Basic question. Basic question. Nah, you're a citizen? Well, that doesn't stop the Trump administration, as we know. How about this, Adrian? Do you think I'm an enemy of the state? Do you think I'm an enemy of the state? If you push Chinese propaganda. So you're saying this video here, which is called "Why is China So Good at Building Railways?" by a great channel. You're saying that this, which is made by an American, Wendover Productions, or maybe it's not an American, maybe it's a Brit, I don't know. You're saying that this video is Chinese propaganda? Really? That's the hill you're going to die on? That this video, made by Wendover Productions—
3 months ago, we released
I'm Chinese propaganda. Okay, so real quick, do you think I'm paid by the Chinese to dispel pro-China propaganda? Do you think that I get some sort of payment form from the Chinese government? Maybe I don't point fingers. Oh, so you're considering the fact that I get paid? You actually are considering that seriously? You think there's a chance I'm getting paid by the Chinese Communist Party? No, you do it for free, which is sadder. What? Please tell me real quick one example of Chinese propaganda I have pushed. One example of Chinese propaganda. Oh, I don't know. Wow, look at how advanced China is. Do you not think China is advanced? You do understand China is advanced, right? What? So pointing out an irrefutable fact is dispelling Chinese propaganda? Are you serious? China's advanced because they use slave labor. Yeah, that's true. So, again, are you saying that China isn't advanced? Or are you saying that saying the sentence, China is advanced, is Chinese propaganda? What are you saying? Are you retarded? Sorry to have thrown that out there. Fucking cancel me. I don't give a shit. Are you serious right now? Are you dead ass? Are you dead ass? My brother's autistic, so I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I got autistic people in my family too. I don't give a shit. Nice Nazi. Okay, now this kid's gonna die on that hill. The kid who loves MAGA is gonna go, this guy used the R word. I don't give a fuck. Guaranteed, watch, guaranteed, this guy will not entertain anything else now. He'll die on this hill from now on. Guaranteed. Wow, Trump supporter draws a line at saying the R slur. You probably support Nazi eugenics. No, I do not. Anyway, let's keep on watching this Chinese propaganda.
Of planes and not much room to fly, planes are frequently delayed by air traffic control to wait for the airspace to clear up, which leads to the abysmal on-time readings of the country's airlines. While the Beijing-Shanghai flights take only 2 hours, the potential of delays, along with all the other factors that make air travel slower, help make the train the popular means of transport on this line. Other train routes in China, though, make less sense. For example, in
请助理是桑桑。你好吗？你好吗？你好吗？你好吗？
2014, the new high-speed train line opened between Langzhou and Urumqi. These two cities are relatively small by China standards. They both have a population of 3.5 million.
Letting it all out now, huh? Bro, I unironically think that me knowing a little bit of Chinese or Mandarin makes you think that I'm a communist. Is that what you think? Just by knowing any Mandarin, you gotta be a commie.
And between them are only small towns. They're also not close. About 1,000 miles separate them. This project could therefore be compared to building a high-speed train from Denver to Seattle. They're modestly sized cities a long ways apart with nothing big in between. Some people would use it, but it wouldn't make any financial sense. In China, Langzhou and Urumqi are not small cities, but there's
learn the language to talk to them, maybe. Yep, there it is. Bro, these fucking people are so predictable.
really nothing big in between.
You know Chinese, therefore you must be a Chinese communist spy.
And at that distance, there's no sense not flying. The Langzhou-Urumqi high-speed train takes 11 hours compared to the 2.5-hour flight, and the construction cost of that line was $20 billion, meaning that if every seat on every train was filled, tickets would still have to cost $400 each way.
Is this one gonna scare you too? Sprechen Sie Deutsch, meine Kamerad? Ich liebe dich. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Ja? Jawohl? Sprechen Sie Deutsch, Kamerad?
Just to make back the construction cost in 30 years. In reality, tickets cost about $80 and trains are far from full, meaning that this rail line is just insane.
Oh, you know what? I guess I'm also a supporter of Mussolini. Dio dammi serenità dei cittadini, così non posso cambiare la coraggio di cambiare le cose che posso e le certezze di capire nella differenza. I must be a fucking Italian fascist too. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, I know. Quando los montanes están azules, la cerveza está fría. Oh my God, I must support Francisco Franco as well. Oh my God, I must be a Spaniard fascist. No, я готов отвечать, comrade. Oh my God, I must be a fucking Russian communist as well. Oh no, четыре привет. Rozviet. Jelanje. Like, are we out of our minds? Are we out of our minds right now? Are we out of our minds? Have we lost the plot? Have we?
Insanely far from profitable. The ticket revenues from these trains
Jack knows it. Я готов отвечать, comrade.
Really don't even cover the cost of electricity for the line, let alone construction and other operating costs. So why would the Chinese government sink so much money into something that has no prospects of really ever making money? Well, politics. Urumqi is the capital.
Does he like this when he's drunk? What? No, bro, I'm just always fun. That's just who I am. I'm just always fun.
Of the Xinjiang province. While 92% of China's population is Han Chinese, the Xinjiang province is primarily Uyghur, one of the minority ethnic groups of China, and there has been an ongoing, fairly strong separatist movement by the Uyghurs from China that has often turned violent. The central government in Beijing, however, wants the Xinjiang province to be just as integrated as the rest of the country, and has tried a variety of methods to force this, including moving Han Chinese into the region and the imprisonment of Uyghurs in so-called
using that to calm drunkenness. Brother, not everybody is like your father. Not everybody gets pissed drunk and lashes out at their children every day. I don't drink unless it's a fucking holiday, okay? I smoke a lot of weed, though.
Education camps. The high-speed train is just the most recent tactic to bring Xinjiang closer to Beijing, and this is no secret. The central government is fully upfront in saying that the line was built to promote, as they call it, ethnic unity. This isn't the first time that they've used this tactic of railroad politics. Tibet, a region even better known than Xinjiang for its independence movement, was the last region in China not to have a railway due to its small population and intense terrain. The central government still wanted to build one, though, to bring it closer to the rest of the country, and so they did. Trains now run directly from Beijing to Lhasa, Tibet in 47 hours on the highest elevation rail line in the world. These trains reach an elevation of 16,640 feet, so high that passengers have to use direct oxygen supply. Even the train to Hong Kong serves the central government's goal of further integrating Hong Kong, which is an autonomous special administrative region, into mainland China. While high-speed trains to Hong Kong certainly do make a lot more sense than trains
Kowloon! I played on that in Black Ops 1.
Xinjiang province, many Hong Kongers have not greeted the new service kindly, as they view it as an encroachment on the autonomy guaranteed to them by Hong Kong basic law. The most controversial part has not been the fact that there's a train, but rather that the station in Hong Kong includes an area that is effectively now part of mainland.
All right, enough of this. I'm going to get ready to end the stream, but we'll finish off with a couple of things. So I work hard and don't give handouts. Adrian, did I ask you about the $1 for 99 people? I'm going to ask you again. I don't know if I asked you. Guy breaks his arm, and it'll cost him $100 to fix his arm. Or it will cost you and 99 other people $1 to fix his arm. Which one would you support? Which one would you like to do? Pay the 99. Sorry, pay the 99. No, brother. No. The one man has to pay $100 to fix his arm, or you and 99 other people have to pay $1. Which one would you support living under in terms of a system? Which system would you rather live under? The one man pays 100. Don't take people's money. Okay, so that, dude, that's just, you just don't have empathy. That's I'm intellectually superior to you. It's that simple. It's very simple. I'd pay $1. Yeah, anybody who has empathy would pay the $1. That's how empathy works. That's how societies progress. That's how it works. Maybe you're just a brokey. Okay, so do you know the #1 cause for bankruptcy in the United States? Do you know the #1 cause for bankruptcy in the United States? No? It's medical bankruptcy. It's medical debt. So are you just saying that the majority of Americans who have medical debts, that they are all just broke and lazy? All of them? No, that's the fault of the Dems. All right. That's it. That's the last fucking message from yours I'm reading, dude. You are too fucking brainwashed to have a successful conversation with. You're too far gone. We've talked about this, chat. We've talked about this. Between 20 and 30% of this nation are in a death cult. There's nothing anybody can say to pull them out of it. This is one of them. There's nothing anybody can say, dude, to help you. You are so far in a cult that Donald Trump could shoot you in the face and you would be okay with it. It's insane. That's it. That's the last message of his I read. $20 to 30% is a lot of people. Well, it's 20 to 30% of the MAGA voters, so it's 20% of... somebody give me 20% of 77 million. Come on. $15.4 million? Yeah. So between 15 and 18 million people in this nation are in a fascist death cult. That's still a lot of people? It is. It is a lot of people. It's more people than the Nazis had. Death cult or regular cult? No, it's a death cult. They praise death. You hear them cheering when they send people to the extermination camp. They cheer when Kyle Rittenhouse murders 2 black people. It's a death cult. They celebrate death as long as it's their ideological enemies. They celebrate death. Yeah, about 17 million people. Yeah. How many did the Nazis have? Let's see. So the population of Germany was about 70 million. Hitler only got 43% of the vote. So let's see. No, they had a bit more. They had about 30,000 people voted for Hitler. Granted, that was in 1933 before he started to do like insane shit. So I'm certain that number dwindled down by the time the final solution was enacted. But yeah, we got about 30 million people voted for Hitler in Germany in 1933. Jared, go check out my latest video on Cecot. That has the pictures. Yeah, only had 1 to 2 million supporters by 45. You had 14 to 15 million in the 1930s. That's crazy. I wish you could stream more often. Yeah, well, I got shit to do. Anyway, speaking of that, I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing. It helps me immensely. If you do want to help the channel financially, because this is real independent media, I have no funding. I've never had a conversation with a billionaire or an advertiser or a foreign government. So if you do want to help the channel financially, there's a handful of ways you could do that. You could become a patron on Patreon for $5. Big shout out to my patrons. You could become a member here on YouTube for $5. Big shout out to my members. You could buy some Valenti Videos merch with the link down below, and you could also use the 40% off discount for the Vantage subscription on Ground News. Link is in the description down below. Make sure you go check out the 2 videos I just posted. Long live the OAL. I love you all. Never stop fighting. Always stay safe. Just remember, you are constantly being monitored. There is no such thing as privacy in this age. So you do need to be very, very careful about everything that you say and do. But, long live the OAL. Long live the OAL. Long live the OAL. Long live the OAL. Anyway. Have a good one, guys. Oh, we got some LLTOAL. LLTOAL.